I am a huge Steven Soderbergh fan, and Unsane was one of my most anticipated movies of the year simply because he was directing it, and he always does something that's rather interesting, rather different, or just simply pure fun. Take for instance last year's Logan Lucky, one of my top 10 movies of the year because it was just pure entertainment. But we've seen Soderbergh do this type of thing before, where he moves from a kind of populist entertainment such as, Oceans, whatever, and into something like side effects, haywire, that kind of thing, where he's trying different things, a different idea or conceit in movie making. This time his idea is to make a full movie on an iPhone. It's something that's been done before, most notably with Tangerine, Sean Baker's movie a year or two ago, which was pretty terrific. And this time it is all about Claire Foy's character, Sawyer, who has had some run-ins with this person in her past, who is a little bit wary of everything round about her, and who feels constantly as if she's been victimised by people round about her, and for good reason, because usually she is. And she goes to see a counsellor, somehow signs some forms, and ends up voluntarily committing herself into an insane asylum where she just wants out. She can't cope with what she's done, and everything she does seems to escalate her situation, keeps her in there longer, and the threat of this stalker seems to be all around about her. She has this person who has been constantly giving her grief, and he seems to have somehow made it into this insane asylum and is torturing her. Or has he? Is it all in her head? Is she really insane? Is she damaged? Should she belong in this place but just can't see it herself because she envisages this guy all round about her? The one thing I'm most noticeable about Unsane is the way it's filmed. The aspect ratio is kind of weird, and some of the angles and choices of where the camera placement is really sticks out. And you have this fantastic filmmaker dealing in kind of genre story elements that don't really break away from the norm. The movie can only go one or two ways. She is insane and it's, she's just crazy and this guy's not following her, or she is perfectly sane and this guy is following her. So you don't have really too many roads that you can travel on this, so the twists and turns you can kind of see coming most of the time, but it's all about how the movie was made. Or that's what I found myself focusing on, going, oh weird, isn't that strange, she's put the camera in a basin so it can look up at her, and they say, oh my goodness, look how low angle this shot is, it's sat on a table, kind of weird choices of angles and situations just because you can, just because of the way that you're filming this movie. And if the movie was a little bit stronger, if it had a little bit more to it, a little bit more substance, a little bit more elements that kept me captivated, I may not have focused on the filmmaking so much. Or could it just be that I'm a Soderbergh fan and was trying to analyse everything he was doing, which was neglectful of the movie itself? Who knows? I did like Unsane. I had a lot of fun with it. I think Claire Foy is fantastic in the performance of Sawyer, someone who could have teetered over the brink, or someone who could be teetering on the brink. There is other characters in amongst this ward who all aggravate or help the situation in some way, shape or form, and then there is the whole mystery at heart. Is she crazy? Is she not? And I liked the way the movie played out. It seemed entertaining, it was pretty fun. I was kind of curious about how it was going to evolve, and when it gets to a certain point later on in the movie, it kind of follows into the sort of generic thriller elements that the movie hints at getting there. Still, when you have a master dealing within genre work, he tends to elevate it a little bit. And he does this one as well by tying up loose ends, by making it all kind of come together in the end in a plausible fashion. There is some moments that are just a little bit out there, a little bit wacky, a little bit things that just don't completely make sense. And if you're curious what those are, hit me up in the comment box and I'll let you know. I don't want to put these spoilers into the movie because it is spoiler elements that I do have a couple of issues with. Overall, I enjoyed Unsane. It's something I would go back to. Not just because I'm a Soderbergh fan, but because I liked the movie. Not enough to go back to it straight away. I'm going to give it a few years though. I would give Unsane 3.5 out of 5. It's good, not necessarily essential viewing on the big screen, still worth checking out when you do get the chance. I'd love to know your thoughts on the movie. Let me know in the comment box below, and I will see you next time on Man vs Film.